Hi, everyone. Morgan here. Okay, so I like to kind of ramble for just a minute here while people show up, but I see there's already some people in the chat. Thanks for being here a few minutes early. But anyway, so first of all, I wanted to touch on the community post that I posted today. Everyone has one of those days, and I think today was just one of my days. I imploded a little bit. It wasn't even from burnout or anything. It was a few combinations of things, and I just kind of I just kind of lost it. Like I think some of us do that. We all have those days, and today was one of those days for me. But I really just wanted to say real quick that I appreciate everyone in the comment section. It really did mean a lot. I didn't do it for any type of attention or anything like that. I just wanted to share how I was feeling about things, and I figured, we're a community, and let's share, right? But I'm going to talk more about that in another live stream. But this live stream is going to be dedicated to being more self-reliant by learning the things that we can make and produce ourselves, and like how we can produce them. And so I love this topic so much. Sorry, it was so windy. Something was flapping and it sounded wild. Sorry. Anyway, I have been on this bender lately. First of all, before I totally get into this, thank you all so much for joining. Appreciate you guys. Thank you all so much for joining in and coming. So yes, I am human. I know, it's amazing. YouTubers are human too. A lot of people think that YouTubers are just these like robotic people, and you'll comment, and then I'll comment back, and they'll be like, what, they're talking to me? Like, yeah, I'm a human, and I created this channel. That video that you're commenting on and I comment back, it's pretty funny. Yes, and we all have those days. We do. And thank you for understanding, and thanks for being the community that I'm really proud to be a part of, like super proud of, honestly. The way that you guys have responded to that post really, it just it really lifted my spirit, so I really appreciate that. So but the Bill Gates divorce news was sad news indeed. I don't remember. I don't know what this is. I guess I haven't heard it. I don't pay attention to much of Bill Gates besides of him trying to get into our business. We can high five, virtual high five. There you go. Okay, so okay, I do want to focus on today's live stream though. So I have really been thinking a lot lately about how I can be more self-sufficient on some things, and I'm always thinking about how can I make things myself? Okay, so how are clothes made? How are certain things made? Like, how are spices made? Just the other day, my husband was like, can we grow paprika? And it never even occurred to me, kind of I was like, paprika, what's paprika? Well, not what's paprika, but what is paprika, as in is it a pepper? Is it what is it? What is it? Can I grow? And we found out it was a pepper, and paprika comes from a pepper, and then you dry it, and then you grind it up. And apparently there's a bunch of different paprika varieties. There's spicier varieties, sweeter varieties, just like peppers in general. There's lots of different varieties. And I was like, oh, we should grow our own paprika. And then you have to find the variety that's best for you. And anyway, my point is, I'm starting to look at things like, how are these certain things made, and can I make them? How can I myself make them so that I can be a little more self-sufficient, but not just make them, actually grow it, actually produce it myself. wool, of course you need sheep, and then you need to feed the sheep. Well, okay, then I want to be more self-sufficient in what I feed the sheep. Sheep eat hay. Okay, well, I want to grow my own hay, and it's like this whole line of things that, you start thinking. And so, I'm literally looking at everything these days and thinking, how can I make this myself? How can I grow or produce or source the things that I need in order to source these things? So I really want to hear from you guys. What is it that you've ever looked at or whatever, or wondered or looked into, like how to make certain things? And it's not even about like having to completely source the things yourself. But it's more like along the line of, like you may not be able to grow it yourself, but maybe you could go forage it or find it or something like that. Like making shoes out of tires or stuff like that. Like sometimes we can repurpose things, like trash that we find and things like that. And so sometimes it's not so much, on paper. I was actually just looking at a book. I'm not going to show it, but I was just looking at a book recently, and I'm like, how can I make my own paper? Like, that's how deep I want to get into this. Like, I want to make my own paper. How can I make my own pencils? Like, I was looking into this stuff. Can I make my own matches? Like, I seriously deep dive into this stuff because, one, I'm tired of buying things, and two, I just want to be more self-sufficient, and I want to think about things that I can just make or produce or figure it out myself, or alternatives, to make myself. And so, okay, let me look at some of the comments here. Oops, here we go. Paneer from milk. I'm not sure what that is. If you could explain. Just need some lemon juice. Was the next comment. I would love to hear more about this. What is? Am I saying that right? Paneer? Looked into how linen is made. It's a huge process. It actually comes from a type of grass. That's really interesting. Like for a while, I didn't know that jeans were essentially cotton, like woven cotton. And so it's like, then you look into linen and you look into wool. I follow this one Instagrammer, and she has sheep, and she shears her sheep, and then she makes the wool into actually usable, like the wool that you buy in the store. She does it herself. And I'm just like, oh my God, I want to do that so bad. And it's only like a little bit of an investment and stuff like that. And then I start thinking to myself, well, these people do it like all the time, like people used to do this all the time. They make their own, they grow the cotton and then produce and then process the cotton and the wool and all this stuff. People used to do this stuff all the time. And I'm like, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's definitely something that we can do. I make juice from raw produce. Absolutely. Making your own juice. I think making your own juice is like one of the best things you can do for yourself. If you have the raw produce and you can make your own juice, stop buying it. Like, it's just so easy. It just takes a blender or a juicer or whatever. I like to just blend up produce, and then so I get all the pulp and the juice and all the goodies from it. But I love smoothies. Yes, it actually is a point of obsession, actually. And like just the other day, I was talking in another live stream where I was like, I bought like a loom and some oh my gosh, some strings so that I could actually make my own socks and stuff, make my own scarves, make my own socks, make my own hats. And I'm like, I'm sick of this. Like, I don't want to buy this stuff anymore. I want to make it myself. And this stuff isn't too expensive. And I've started to like kind of, just think about, like, great. I bought some of that wool, whatever, but I really want to get down to the point in which I'm not buying the wool. I just have the sheep so that I can, process the wool and everything myself. Shoes from trees, asphalt alligators. Heck yeah. Shoes from trees, shoes from tires. You can make all sorts of clothes from so many things. I've seen people make clothes out of the those reusable grocery bags. That's really cool. I mean, I think that's so creative, and oh yeah, a 3D printer. Oh man, we want one so bad. I'm pretty sure we could supply the wattage. Like especially if you're doing something like during the day, like I don't know like how long certain things take. I know that certain things will take longer than other things to produce in a 3D printer, and it also depends, I think, on the type of 3D printer you have. Um, but yeah, I mean, 400 watts continuously, it is a lot, but I think if we did it like during the day, and if we did projects, I don't know if you could pause 3D printing, but if you could, that'd be awesome, because then we do it during the day and then pause it and then finish it off during the day when we have like a whole bunch of sun and stuff. But yeah, 3D printers on our list, 100%. Such a great idea. But then I start thinking, okay, great, I have this 3D printer, but then I have to get the actual like the whatever I'm gonna 3D print from, the material. So how can I make the material myself? And then I start thinking about like knives, and I'm like, well, how do I source these, the materials for the knives, and things like this. So like my head just spirals, like this is great start, get a 3D printer, get a whole bunch of material, but then how can I produce the material myself? Like it's a whole thing. My grandma, my granddaughter and I made paper from used paper torn up and leaves and grass. I did that as a kid. I did the leaves and grass and flowers. We put inputted flowers in there. And then there's like rice paper, make paper out of rice. You can make all kinds of paper from all different kinds of things. But this is definitely something I really want to look into, how to make your own paper. They used to do it all the time. Still can. Dang it. You guys are talking. Good job. I repurpose old pallets into yard furniture. Heck yeah. Pallets are just amazing. And we've been getting so many free pallets lately and just trying to find a whole bunch of different ways to repurpose them and use them. Pallets are great. Yeah, just learning the actual skill of sewing, this is definitely a lost art, sewing, sewing by hand. And then if you have a machine, I would really like a manual machine, but of course that's, it's a lot of work with those manual machines. I don't know if you guys have ever used one, but I have for a very short time, and sewing, and it's a bit of work, but dang, people used to do it. It's crazy. White vinegar and water is a great ant repellent. And then, see, you say that and you say the white vinegar, and I'm like, well, how can I make the white vinegar? I've actually looked into it. I've looked into how to make vinegar. And it's a distilling process, so you just need to make a distiller. I'm sorry if you guys hear a buzzing. I'm using the light from my camera, and there's a lot of buzzing going on. I'm not sure who's messaging me or emails. I'm not sure what it is. Sorry. Anyway, so I want to actually make my own vinegar, but it's a distilling process. So really all you need is kind of like a distiller, but it's not a difficult process. It's a little, you just have to like have the stuff, basically. Paneer is great for vegetarian meals, a simple form of cheese. Nice. That's cool. And I also follow another Instagrammer where she makes all her own cheese. She has her own milk cows, and she makes her own cheese. I want to be that person. I want to be that person that makes their own cheeses and has their own milks and makes their own yogurt, like does all this stuff, just all I appreciate you. Thank you. Not quitting, not going anywhere, just reassessing, I guess. I'm subscribed to this lady's YouTube, and she uses material from old clothes and makes a totally different piece of clothing. Yeah. Repurposing old clothes. I'm such a hoarder when it comes to old clothes and things. Like, I'm like, I don't want to throw this out, because like I'll get a hole in my sock and I'm like, I don't want to throw this out. Like, I could repurpose it into something. I don't know what, but I could, and I will figure it out later. And my husband gets really mad at me, and I'm like, I'm trying not to be a hoarder, but at the same time, like, I feel so bad throwing like such a perfectly good sock away. It just has a little hole. I could patch up the hole. Obviously, that's step one. And step two, if it's just totally unpatchable or whatever, I just don't want to patch it, then I could, try to repurpose it into something else. And yeah, same with clothes too. We would always take old tank tops in our family and repurpose them into rags. I know people that take their old kids' clothing and make them into quilts. I think these are all just really fun ideas. And, repurposing is part of, making things yourself, essentially, taking things that exist already. And yes, you can grow cotton. We have cotton fields here in the desert, lots of cotton fields, actually. Yeah. So let's see. Sorry. I'm reading comments and I was listening to the wind again outside, and I was like, found your channel while looking for DIY oxygen absorbers, by the way. Oh, cool. Yeah. I did that one experiment. I'm not sure it was a total failure. I'm not sure I completely understood what I was doing either. So I think I got to try it again and really understand it better. I think it definitely worked. It was a long time ago. But oh my gosh, I want alpaca. I think they're pretty neat. It's unattainable for individual. Large tries can be very close. I'm not talking about total self-sufficiency. I think that I can definitely be self-sufficient in many ways, such as feeding my family and feeding my animals. That's how I can be mostly self-sufficient, and that's where a lot of money goes to. Let's be honest here. And I think that there's a lot of ways to be self-sufficient, without having to rely on other people for a lot of things. Not everything, because there's always been trade, and there's always been, well, I can't make this or I can't do this, so I'm going to trade with my neighbor, or I'm going to trade with this person who comes through town, or whatever the case may be. But you can be self-sufficient to a pretty great extent, actually. It is very attainable. Yeah, sewing by hand, it's actually really simple. There's not a lot to it, just some practice. Yeah, I would love to grow bamboo. I want to grow, there's a whole bunch of stuff I want to grow, but a lot of this stuff, I have to kind of map out how I want to do this stuff, especially without a well. Gets a little more complicated, but yeah, I would really like some bamboo for sure. Love bamboo. I saw somebody like cutting down bamboo the other day, and I was like, no, why? And they're like, this is such a nuisance in my yard. I was like, no, give it to me. But they were like somewhere else, and I was like freaking out though. I was like, why are you cutting down the bamboo? A lot of people find it invasive. Somebody told me the other day, or I keep reading that mint is very invasive, and I'm over here like, and I love mint. You think it's invasive? I want mint everywhere. I love mint. I'll pick that mint. I'll dry that mint. I'll use it in my teas. Give me the mint. I want the mint. Give me the mint. And so I don't care if it's invasive. I just planted some outdoors. I've been planting mint indoors, but I planted some outdoors, and I invade away. Anyway. You sure that buzzing isn't your bees escaping? What? My bees in my bonnet? Is that what she's saying? I was looking at the price for wool socks. I wish I knew how to knit or crochet. See, that's what I'm working on. I love wool socks, merino wool specifically, but I'll wear wool. I wear year round. I don't like cotton socks. I used to wear cotton my whole life, and then I found the wool socks, and it changed my life, and I won't go back to cotton. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm learning to crochet with that loom to make socks. And it says I can make socks with that loom, so that's what I'm going to try. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Okay, I was happy to make a bench out of materials we had, very old wood and cinder blocks. So that's awesome. I saw that bench, I remember. And I thought that was so creative. Like that's kind of more about self-sufficiency as well, using what you have as well, and using what you can actually find. That's what I'm always trying to do when I'm out in the woods, or, I'm always trying to build something outside. I'm not trying to actually cut something and do something new. I want to repurpose something at the very least. And, if I already have some things around, like let's make that work first. Like we have a whole bunch of rocks here, and I want to make like a rock, like little rock kitchen thing. But yeah. So anyway, one day. Yes. Tanning leather is on my list. Absolutely. I want to dry and tan leather. That's definitely on my list. I have a friend that processes her own leather, and I definitely want to do that soon, very soon. Yes. Sorry, I got got into my own head about it. I was like, yes, this stuff actually really excites me. I like this stuff. Heidi at Rain Country uses old jeans to make and sell purses and blankets. Yeah, I love repurposing old jeans. I used to do it mainly just for char cloth, but yeah, making like purses and yeah, a whole bunch of cool stuff like that. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I crochet mostly Afghans in various sizes, and also table runners, scarves, hats, and even a shawl. Yeah. That's what I want to do. I want to crochet like all of our own, hat. Like my daughter, one of our friends crocheted a hat for her for actually Kid Rogue, and then she like extended it and made it a little bigger, and then it became Little Rogue's, and now Little Rogue is growing out of it. And I was like, we're not near that friend anymore, but at the same time, I was like, I just want to make it myself, like I shouldn't have to rely on somebody else to make something so simple. And that's where I'm at now. A lot of things are pretty difficult right now just because of lack of space with certain things. I have a sewing machine, but I don't really have a space to like legit sew. Like if I wanted to start a sewing project, it would have to be a really quick one because all the space that we have is really designated towards other stuff. So if I wanted to temporarily make a space, and so it would have to be a pretty quick or a day project or something. I'd have to get it done pretty quick. And so right now I have little limitations on some stuff, but I'm hopefully should be getting some more space soon, but we'll see. I just started becoming really interested in self-sustainability, starting super simple with learning how to make bread and making sourdough starters so I won't need yeast. Yeah. And I also want to say something on the yeast. You could also try making your own wild yeast. I will have a video about this, but I think making your own wild yeast it's just ridiculously simple, and you can do it just as quick as your own sourdough starter, except it's not always going to be sourdough. You can just make your own regular yeast, which that could be used for other things as well, not just bread and baking, but it could be used for beer and wine and other things like that. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like one of my neighbors crochets, and she's always posting about she's actually working on a sweater right now, and she's always posting about it, and I'm just like, one day. I always sewed and repaired socks. Now I wear them out before I get holes or whatever it is to get new socks. Yeah, I mean, at some point it's like buying new socks is easier than repairing them, but sometimes socks just literally wear out. But I would really like to find some different ways to repurpose old socks, especially the nice merino wool socks. Invasive cocktail garnish. Bamboo? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're referring to? A bamboo is a cocktail garnish? That's so funny. You can make so many things out of bamboo. I just love bamboo. It's so good. Great for backpacking, great for life. Yes, they are. They are the best. Oh, I inspired you for that bench? That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, I take mateless socks and stuff them, tie them up, and they are new pet toys. Yeah, our dogs don't like toys very much. I don't know, like we've always tried to get them engaged with toys, and they're just like, meh. So It's a really good idea. Super good idea. Maybe I'll make some kid toys out of them, though. I don't know. That's always a fun thing to do. The right word would be self-reliant, and I also think people can and should work towards it. I think that we need to stop being so focused on being the correct words. Like, you want to be self-sufficient, you want to be self-reliant, do whatever you want to do, okay? Just do it, okay? Just do it. All right? I don't care. I'm a prepper, I'm a survivalist, I'm a homesteader, I'm self-reliant, I'm working towards self-reliance. I'm all these things. It doesn't matter what you call yourself. Just work towards it. Labels are pretty insignificant, I think. All right. Repurpose was my middle name back in the day. My favorite auto shop used to be Home Depot. Yeah. Oh man, that's our treasure trove right there. Yeah, well, I mean, you have to use some kind of yeast for the beer and wine and whatever. Yeah. Oh, the mint. You want to garnish with the mint. Sorry. I was like, bamboo garnish. That sounds cool. Tell me more about that. Okay, I've never paid more than $30 for a blazer. Stick with the manufacturer and find a used blazer. That's cool. These things are dry cleaned and like new. I cannot get clothes that I have to dry clean. I know that some people have to, and I get it, but like, like I really don't like any clothes that I have to dry clean. I don't you know what? I'm thinking about it. I'm not even sure I know what dry cleaning is. You keep hearing about dry cleaning. I'm not even sure I know what the process is about dry cleaning. That's funny. Mayless socks filled with sand, beans, rice. Yep. Bean bags for kids. I've also done that. I've also done a video for filling it with rice and then putting it in the microwave and heating it up, and it's like a nice little hand warmer. It worked. It was good, but like it doesn't last very long. It's kind of like the whole thing of people who want to use like hot rocks or hot bricks or things for like long periods of time. Those things, they don't maintain heat that well. I mean, ask me how I know, and so, I think we have to just be really, really realistic about some of these, little hacks and things. But it definitely kept my hands warm for a good little while. I'd say about 30 minutes. But after that, it was pretty, I'm sure insulated or something inside of a bed maybe it lasted a little bit longer. But even then, I'm not even sure how long it would have lasted. My daughter was practicing for an AP test, and one of the writing prompts was about an author who did not support being off-grid or homesteading. People would be surprised how many people are not in favor of others being off-grid and homesteading. And that mostly comes from their own inability and their own fear and basically inability to do it themselves. Like they failed at it, or they think it'll be too hard, or they just don't see how it can work out for people, or whatever the case may be. Like they always want to find all these little holes instead of just trying to figure it out. I mean, we have to think, a couple hundred years ago, people were, maybe people weren't like completely self-sufficient or self-reliant or whatever you want to call it, but they like a lot of people, they would farm for themselves, and sorry, I had an answer about the dry cleaning. I'll bring that up in a second. Like they did so many of these things for themselves. They had a milk cow, and they produced their own milk. We did these things for ourselves. And then it just became to a point where, we're so connected to society and the grid and these systems in which now people are like, well, getting off the system, that's a really hard life. I mean, I don't know. It can be challenging. Yes, absolutely will be challenging. It's not going to be like sunshine and rainbows all the time, but it's also not necessarily hard. I don't think there's hard work. Yeah. 100% hard work. Yep. But Yeah. Okay. So one person said, the dry cleaning uses chemicals that aren't water soluble to remove stains. Dry cleaning involves heat to activate the chemical cleaners. Okay. I'm going to have to look more into it. I mean, I get it. Thank you for explaining it to me, but what's the best solar charger for on the go? You know what? Let me ask my husband. He would be the one to ask that or answer that. I'm going to ask, I was actually trying to think, for on the go, I'm going to ask my husband that. I can't right now, but I will later. And I'll try, send me a message somewhere and remind me, please, so that I can get an answer for you. He'll answer it. Okay, because a mom and two sisters learned to sew at an early age while in the military. Guys paid me big bucks to hand sew all their patches because you couldn't tell they were sewn on. Yeah, people pay other people all the time to sew things, to hem their pants, to hem their sleeves, to what are we talking about? To make their clothes, right? And then this perfect example here, hand sew their patches. Yeah, it's a really good skill to know. I would just start, practicing just sewing, random things onto random things. And figuring out, watching a few YouTube tutorials. I promise, guys, hand sewing is really not that hard. And there's lots of techniques and things. So let's see. The author said people should move to the cities. I don't mind people that live. Look, I've lived in the city up until a year ago. You want to live in the city? Live in the city. That's great. But people pushing you to live in the city because you think that the system's going to be easier for you is not necessarily the right path for everyone. That's weird. It is an agenda. I can't figure out how to live 50 miles from the nearest Starbucks and Arby's. That's kind of how I feel sometimes of our society. And let me tell you, okay, I like I said, I lived in the city for a really long time. And, when we wanted to just go do something, if we wanted to just go to like Hobby Lobby or Walmart, just hang out, Toys R Us, when that was still around. I really miss Toys R Us, guys. It was just cool to like hang out, like just take my kid. I couldn't, it was closed down before Little Rogue. Anyway, it's just cool to like walk around. Anyway, my point is, it's so easy in the city to just kind of go and do that stuff without really a lot of thought, And now, it's just different. It is different. And so you have to completely get into that different mindset of, well, there's lots of other things to do besides going into, a mall or whatever else, but society has really been conditioned. They've really been conditioned. It's very interesting. Let's see. Depending on the article of clothing, you can use Dryel in the dryer to dry clean clothes. Interesting. I'll have to look it up. Are you talking about a solar charger? Wait, are you talking about a solar panel? Solar panels are not solar chargers. I'm sorry. If you're talking about a solar panel, like one of those foldable solar panels, then I got the answers. It's either Goal Zero or Foxelli. But if you're talking about a solar charger is different than a solar panel. Sorry. That I actually may have gotten confused. It's work. That is the key. People are lazy. It's why they don't prep. I think people really like a lot of the lifestyle that they have, and I don't blame them at all. I don't blame people for liking, the flick of a light switch to have their electricity, or the turn of a knob to have, running water just, readily available to them. I don't mind that they want to go to the grocery store or have their food delivered to their home. I don't mind that they like these things. What I mind is the fact that they think that they could never go away. That's what really gets me. That's what gets me. is that people think that it could be that that modern society, the way that it is, could be sustainable. That's what gets me. So yeah. A lot of people have no clue where their food comes from. Some don't even know what food animals look like. Yeah, this is very true. I saw this one video. It was of this guy that was talking about beans. And he was like, are beans a seed? Wait a minute. Seriously, are beans a seed? And I was like, oh my gosh, no. And I was like, I really, really hope this guy is joking. Like, seriously. And like, yeah, I really hoped he was joking. I'm pretty sure he was, but like these days, I don't know who's joking and who's not. So yeah, I don't even, I'm not trying to make fun of anyone either. Like if somebody genuinely doesn't know where something comes from, like if they're like, where does bacon come from? And then they figure out it's from a pig, and then, it changes the whole world. Where do sunflower seeds come from? Well, it comes from the sunflower. And, like where do beans come from? Well, it comes from beans. And, like I'm not, I don't think that any of us are better than anyone else. And I think that it's nice that they've acknowledged like, hey, I don't know where this come from. So let me figure it out. And I think that's the key there for them to say, I don't know where this comes from. Like I didn't know where paprika, like what plant that came from. So I looked it up. And I just really wanted to know, so that I could grow it myself. And then I was starting to look into other stuff like citronella, and I was looking into what else was, I really want like a tea tree. I want like a whole bunch of stuff. But a lot of this stuff can only go in my tropical greenhouse, which is coming soon. But yeah. So if you need to know what beans look like, go in my backyard, plenty growing there. My beans are growing great too. I'm so happy your beans are growing. That's awesome. My beans are growing really great too. They're just starting to come up. Mine have been a little slow popping up, but they're starting to sprout up pretty quick now. But I'm so excited. I have so many different kinds of beans coming up, and I love experimenting with the different types of varieties and stuff. So fun fact, you can actually get beef bacon. It's not too bad either compared to the real deal. Beef bacon. I'd try that. I would totally try that. But I guess, wait, I'm missing a joke here. Bacon comes from Inglewood. I'm missing a joke. Somebody fill me in. All right. So anyway, my point is with this whole like self-reliant, like when you look at things that you like use every day or you want to use every day, or, the literal clothes on your back, like I want you to think, okay, well, if I, if whatever, I don't want to buy more clothes again, or I don't, or, whatever the case may be, like how could I make these clothes myself? Or how could I make that yogurt myself? How could I do these little things? And just start small. I wouldn't say start with, making your own clothes, but right off the bat, but maybe start with like making your own like baby wipes, making your own like, just like little things, like just, make your own chapstick, make your own soaps, like make your own little things, and then figure out like, like I use a lot of beeswax. So naturally I want bees so that they can produce, well, not only honey, but beeswax for me. So that's a good resource for me, is going to be having bees. And so, that's one way for me to, get what I need as far as beeswax and honey goes. But of course, bees are just amazing. Great for my garden too. So it helps everything. Back on the bacon. Gotta get back on the bacon. I like turkey bacon. Actually, bake it. It's pretty good. I kind of make it a bit more crispier, but not burnt. I've had turkey bacon. It's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It's not bad. Turkey bacon, beef bacon, bacon. It's all good. It's all bacon. Yes. compost. I use fireplace ash to enrich compost. Yep. We compost. Yeah. Making your own compost and making your own dirt, technically. That's a great way. Oh, Doc was talking about you. Okay. Sorry. Well, I know Inglewood is a city. I didn't know. Oh, bacon. See, clicks. Got it. I got you. All right. Sadly, there are people who live their whole life in the city have never seen a real cow. I don't really care if people want to live their whole lives in the city. I do hope that people will expand their horizons and expand their thoughts and understand where things come from and that kind of thing. And that's, at least if they know that, milk comes from cows or whatever the case, then that's a good start, right? I think as long as we can understand where things come from, it can better help how we spend our money, how we understand what we can live without. It can help us understand if we can produce it ourselves. It can help us understand how to maybe source things more locally, things like that, So yes, bees are amazing. Another supporter of the beef bacon. All right. Well, I got to try this beef bacon. Man, I feel like I've been missing out my whole life. I was about to get on DuckDuckGo. What is beef bacon? Where can I buy it? What does it look like? Now I'm like really curious. Okay. Let's see. Just got a composter. What do I need to put in it to get things started? It has 2 bins. So to get your composter started, what I would do is I would get some like grass, or like like if you have grass and you've cut your grass, take the grass clippings and put it in there. You could put leaves. You can put almost any of that type of stuff and put it in the compost. You can put like hay if you have any extra hay or anything like that. You could put that in there. Put that in there. Like if you have pine shavings, but nothing with animal poo on it, just like regular pine shavings. I don't know. If you have like from a past project or something, you can put that in there. And then you would put like vegetable scraps, fruit scraps. You can put eggshells in there and you can put coffee grounds. Just do those 2 at like a minimum. I use the eggshells in a few different ways, but I do still put eggshells in there if, anyway, you can put coffee grounds in there. Just try to make sure you have a good mixture. If you go online, you'll see a bunch of things that are like, like high in nitrogen and high in this other stuff that, you want like a good mix. But I've never really paid like a huge close attention to like, oh, it's really high in nitrogen right now. But mine is just like mixing up super good. Like I just throw like a bunch of fruit and vegetable scraps in there. And then you'll have to add a little bit of water every once in a while. And then you just mix it up. That's literally it. And you just keep it mixed up and you continue to put those scraps in there, mix it up. It scraps pretty good. Again, if you could put any of the, it is seriously so simple. I literally just throw stuff in there, like no meat, no dairy, never put meat, never put dairy. Some people say they do. I won't. You want to put meat and dairy? That's cool. That's not for me. I would never put any animal poo, no animal poo. If you want to compost down your animal, like your horse manure or your cow manure, your chicken manure, do that separate. Do not do that with your regular compost. Like your kitchen scrap compost, basically. Do that separate. Like I'm composting my chicken manure separate, all in its own thing. I'm not doing those together. So yeah, just some people even put like newspaper scraps in there. Some people will put paper. They'll just like shred it up. Like mail. I'm trying to think of the word. Mail, like scraps from mail. They'll put that in there. A lot of people are really concerned about that, because you want to be concerned about the the ink on the paper and stuff like that. But a lot of people will, some people will put cardboard in there. So yeah, just do it. It's very simple. Very simple. Just do it. Okay. I have to wait another week before I can plant my seeds. It got cooler here. Oh my gosh. I've seen so many videos of people who have started their stuff and then they're like, no, oh, I'm sorry. I got distracted. They've started their stuff and then it like got down so cold, like unexpectedly cold. And they were like, no, my seedlings. And they've had to drag them inside and they've had to like cover them. They've had to do all this stuff. I feel so bad. I actually brought my strawberries were in the greenhouse for a while. And then I brought the strawberries out and then it got down to freezing a couple nights. And I was like, and so I had to cover them, but they were perfectly fine. You just cover them and they're fine. But I learned to make tapioca and the flour from yucca, cornstarch, masas. Yeah, I love to get the root of production. That is wonderful. I love hearing that. I love it. Yeah, I think yucca is just such an amazing plant, and we have it here, and I'm trying to learn more about how, like, all of its uses. Like, I know how to do it. Like, I know how to, you can make cordage from it, and I know you can make soap from it, and I know you can make flour from it, and I know you can make all this stuff, but like, and then like, that's another thing, making the soap from the wood ash, like really getting down to it, and then making your own cornstarch and masa, from corn. Like, corn is super amazing too. And yeah, I just love that. I love that you're getting down to the root. I see what you did there, of the production. So yeah, me too. Exactly like that. No, we're actually thinking about heading to Colorado soon, and it's still so snowy there. Where we want to go, it's supposed to be like super, super snowy. Where we want to go, usually the snow doesn't even melt until like end of July. So yeah, that's pretty funny. So yeah, anyway, today, I just wanted to quickly talk about that and get you guys thinking. I want you, this is your homework. I want you to like look at the stuff that you consume, or look at the stuff that you use regularly, or like want to use, or look at the stuff that you eat and these kinds of things. Like, look at the stuff and try to get down to the down to the production of it. Like Klingon Princess said, get down to the production of it. How could I produce this myself? And sometimes when you produce things yourself, it's not going to be exact, and it's not going to be like perfect. And sometimes it's going to come out way different than, like how you bought it, because it was manufactured. It's not going to be the same. Okay. Sometimes it is. And actually sometimes it could be better. Okay. Sometimes when you make it yourself, it could be better. So most of the time better, but sometimes it won't like look as pretty or like look as perfect or whatever, but it will bring you so much pride that you did it yourself. You know what I mean? Like, wow, I made this sourdough starter from, by myself, and I made bread from it by myself. That's such a huge accomplishment. I mean, it is. It's huge. And I want you to just continue building that confidence. Build the confidence. Do little things here and there. Build it, build it, build it. All right? Start one thing, do it. Start with another thing, do that. And just do one project after another. Okay. So it's my pleasure. My homemade laundry soap. And also, it's so funny about the laundry soap. I learned about soap nuts recently. And I also learned that I can grow the soap nut tree in my tropical greenhouse whenever I get it. And I'm going to make a soap nut tree, and I'm going to harvest those soap nuts, and I'm going to have that for my laundry. See, it's this like whole thing. It's that whole process, that whole thought process. It's so crazy. There's so much out there that we can produce ourselves. It's great. But anyway, I do want to end this. I got to put my kids to bed here in a few minutes, but thank you all so much for joining me. I really appreciate you. And thanks again. Just thanks for being here. I appreciate you. And I'll talk to you later. Conquer tomorrow by preparing today. Think outside that box. Think how you can make things yourself. I'll talk to you later. Bye.